Most of the time, we think that 60 to 90,000 of our thoughts, we think all of them. We think all of those are true. We convince ourselves that those thoughts are true, and that's not the case either. That's unhealthy and that's toxic. And I fall into that same pattern. I go off and tell myself this story based off a thought, based off another thought, and based off that thought that led to that thought. You feel me?
Right.
Because I'm attached and I'm like intertwined with that, and it's messing me up.
Welcome back to the Express Yourself Black Man podcast. My name is Kizzle or Kofi, and I'm a mental health advocate, public speaker, and founder of a Kizzle brand, which is a project aimed at raising awareness for depression and helping people through difficult times. Studies show that on average, men lose 2.8 years of their life when they're under heavy stress. The point of this podcast is for me to gain those 2.8 years back. As a black man, society often tries to tell me what I can, can't do, or talk about, which can often leave me feeling trapped. And so this podcast is my release. Yo, what's up, y'all? We're going live with Soul Cole. We're supposed to be talking about breath work, but Young Dolph got tragically murdered today, so we'll probably talk about that and some other stuff. So, yeah, stick with us. It's definitely going to be a dope conversation. So, what's going on, brother?
Peace, my brother. How you feeling?
I'm all right, man. Like, I was feeling definitely a little bit heavy earlier before I went to the gym, like a couple hours ago, just with, everything that we heard about Young Dolph. And then also I was at the gym and then I heard about what happened with Black Youngster and Yo Gotti. And I just, I don't know. I just feel like it always takes a toll on me hearing about another black man dying.
Yeah, man.
And I put up a post and I was just telling people, like, every time we as black men hear about other black men dying, it always kind of, at least for me, it always kind of reminds me of the fact that my life can kind of be stripped away at any point in time,
any moment, bro.
You get what I'm saying, right? And like it puts us in kind of like a heightened state of anxiety. That's what I was saying, which we have to operate in as if everything is normal, right? And then that heightened state of anxiety also perpetrates like the whole issue where we have like people that are committing these violent acts, right? Because they're so anxious. We're so worried about not making it home safe that now we are part of the violence because we want to make sure that we can get home. So if anybody even looks like a threat, if we even perceive things that aren't even threats as threats, now it's, you get what I'm saying? Like now it's an issue, right? So it's just this vicious cycle. And I'm kind of like, it's hard to figure out what to do, especially as a black man. So I think the best thing that we can do is kind of talk about it.
Yeah.
And just have an open conversation and just let people hear kind of the discussion that we have amongst each other, because I don't think we talk about this enough. We talk about it when things happen, but then like the next day or the next week or whatever, we kind of move on.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be a longer discussion about what we can do in our community to kind of stop some of this stuff.
I think you bring up a great point, just having this space to share authentically, to share, with transparency. And it's, just even, transparency, like you and I had scheduled to talk, a couple of weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. And our schedules didn't align, right? And we rescheduled for this day to do a recording, right? We wasn't even going to go live. We was going to do a recording that was going to get put out later. Right. But all this was way too heavy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I think you made a great decision with what's going live, just to get it out, right? Just these natural emotions and it's in the moment, man. For me, you brought up about, being a black man, having to, when we see other black men, murdered, it just hits different, right? When we look in the mirror at night and it's like, wow, like, yeah, that could be me at any given moment, right? We already walk with that target on our back when we leave the house. Right. And that anxiety, it comes with us, right? And then sometimes, I can't lie, I get in this bubble, right? That, yeah, like I don't think that this can happen to me as a safety net, knowing that it can happen to me, but I keep telling myself that that's the only way, because if not, I would scare myself into never coming out the house.
Right. And that's what, you're making such a great point. That's what people don't understand is like you kind of have to psych yourself out to the point where it's like you're leaving the house.
That's the mental part of it,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. It's really a mental battle on a daily basis, and especially when you have events like this that happen because it's fresh in your mind. Like, yo, this just happened to this brother. Like, that could have really been me. And I'll give you a perfect example, right? When I was younger, when I was like 15, 16, I got robbed for the second time, right? I got robbed for the second time. I'm literally like a block away from my house. I get robbed by like two people. They took my phone. They took like some money off of me. And the next day, when it was time for me to like leave the house, I felt so heavy. And I talk about this a little bit in the book. I felt so heavy. I felt like I was going to war. Like literally, I felt like I was going to war. I felt like I had like 300-pound person that I was carrying out the door with me. It was that hard to take my first step outside of my house. And that comes with the trauma of being robbed, of having some kind of trauma that happens to you in close proximity in your neighborhood. And when things like this happen, when we hear about like black men dying or a black man getting like violence, some kind of violence happening to a black man, we get this secondhand trauma, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about right now, our experience with hearing this kind of news. And it puts us in a state where we feel like we've actually experienced it because in a sense we have, right?
Yeah.
Like in a sense we have.
Yeah.
So it's important that you acknowledge the fact that, yo, I kind of have to psych myself out to get to the point where I leave the crib, because if not, you would be in the crib anxious all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you would be in the crib anxious the whole time.
Yeah, man. If you don't mind, I want to just set this space. I know we both kind of came on this joint a little razzled, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to just come back and just ground us in this moment, right? And ground us, you know, and using our platform to share, you know, and serve, but with intention. So I'm gonna just go. I want to put this good energy out there still, right? This healing energy out here. So I'm gonna just go ahead and light this Palo Santo right quick, and I'm gonna just, you know, take a moment of silence and just, you know, let everybody in this space know that this is a safe space. Let everybody know that this is a place where you can come and just, you know, be yourself, right? We're just gonna have an open conversation, but I know that you and I just came on. We were just like, man. So, you know, let's just, you know, let's take a couple deep breaths, man. You know, if everybody who's joining, they want to just, you know, do this with us, I encourage you to do that. You know, sit upright, spine up tall, relax your shoulders, and just focus on your inhale and focus on your exhale right now, man. Just be thankful for the breath that we have in our lungs, the breath of life. And that alone is so much to be grateful for. And as you close your eyes and you really just focus on that sensation going in and out through your nose, or if you want to exhale through your mouth, whichever is comfortable. It's no right or wrong. It's just grounding yourself in this present moment, connecting yourself to this present moment with your breath, and allow that to be your anchor in this moment for whenever you feel stressed, or whenever you feel a high level of an anxiety. You know, as myself right now, I definitely feel a high level of anxiety, and I'm trying to um, mask it and portray myself in a way that it doesn't seem that show that I'm hurting, but I am hurting, and um, I have the courage to admit that right now in this safe space. And it's okay for me not to be okay right now. It's okay for me not to be okay right now. And I know that I'm not alone. I know that I'm not alone. And everybody else who, you know, who feels, you know, similar, know that you are not alone in this moment as you continue to bring your attention to your breath. Inhaling through your nose, and a deep sigh, exhaling through your mouth, letting all that negative energy out, letting all that worry, let it all go. And as we just set our intention just to be open and honest and supportive of each other, and to allow our light to shine while we create this space right now. It's just, it's heavy, right? And I think the best thing that we can do is sit in it together, right? As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to feeling like, we're alone. So yeah, I just wanted just to do that, man, just to ground us back into this moment. This was, like I said, this was unexpected, but the timing of it was not coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. Like I said, you and I had already scheduled to have this conversation tonight and talk about Black men and mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I'm gonna, kick it back over to you, man. This is
Yeah. All right, listen, man, I appreciate you doing that because I was just gonna get into things that we can do when we experience high levels of anxiety, because a lot of times we have this heightened level of anxiety and that we don't know what to do with it, right? So then we live with it and it becomes normalized, right? But we have to learn how to release that. And so I talk about it in the book too, exactly what you did, like that meditation, that breath work is so important. Grounding yourself, especially when you're having or experiencing anxiety, because anxiety is a liar somewhat. It's basically putting you in a experience or a moment that's not real, right? Like the reason why we experience that anxiety is because we feel like we're in a space where we can be killed or something's gonna happen to us, right? And that's not the truth. Like right now, I'm at home.
right.
I'm technically safe at home, right? So it's about bringing yourself back into that present moment, and you did that beautifully, brother. So I appreciate you. I applaud you. Thank you so much for that, man. Like,
Yeah,
because we need, like, all of us need those tools, those techniques in order for us to learn how to deal with that anxiety. Like not even just black men, just black people in general. We all experience anxiety, right? Just with the fact that just because we're black in America, right? Like you're always gonna have to experience that level of anxiety, but it's about learning how to deal with it healthily.
yeah.
So man,
We
I appreciate you for that. And then what I wanted to ask you, bro, is like, how did you get into this work, and like, what is it like? I guess your journey. Like, how
Yeah,
did you get into this
this
work?
nah, you said it right. This
Yeah.
work, this inner work, man.
Mm-hmm.
I got on my path. I think I became aware that I was on this path in 2018. I've always been on this path, but have I been conscious of it? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I've always been on the path of returning home to myself, returning to my true nature. And but it was in 2018 where that light bulb finally clicked on for me, and that was one of the lowest points of my life. I just suffered two season-ending injuries in
Mm-hmm.
my career, having neck surgery, having hip surgery, back-to-back months. I was dealing with a lot of family, drama, right? Who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have? But it was heightened at this time. I was dealing
Mm-hmm.
with my personal relationship, that was heavy on me, and I had a lot, everything was just coming down on my plate, right? But it was breaking me down to build me back up. And that's hindsight now. I didn't understand it in the moment. I just knew that this was a storm. I knew it was a storm, right? And so in that storm, I'm a huge fan of J. Cole naturally. And so I listened to an interview he did back in 2018 at Rolling Loud, and he talked about how meditation was helpful for him,
Mm-hmm.
and before he goes on shows, before he does, an interview, right? And that's helps him ground himself. And I was like, okay, let me, before I had heard about it, but I never like really gave it a try consistently. But here now I see someone who looks like me. I see someone who I resonate with, and I hear
Mm-hmm.
them authentically talking about how this can help them, how this is helping them.
Right.
I'm open to giving it a try now. So then I started that journey, and it wasn't pretty, it wasn't clean, it wasn't just like, oh, I got it, right? No,
Right.
that took time, that took me committing to it, right? It took me trial and error. It took me going through, different different modalities to figure out, all right, what works for me, right? Do I like silent meditations? Do I like lightly guided meditations? Do I like music with my meditations, right? And do I, what is breath work, right?
Right.
And it's different types of breathing practices. And then what is, and then that took me naturally into yoga, right? Healing myself physically. And yoga is definitely a lot more mental than it is physical. And I had to figure that out as that practice continued to help me in my rehab as well. So incorporate all that, and fast forward to 2021, going through the pandemic allowed me to accelerate on this journey, right? Because I was already committed to doing the work and doing this healing, this inner work, and this road to self-discovery, and this road of unlearning and relearning, these norms and these conditions that I've been programmed, just from birth, right? And so that's been where have been gotten to from there to now. And now I'm at a point where I've realized that I have a purpose now outside of playing football.
Right.
And I didn't before then. I didn't think that that's all I was good for, but I wasn't sure what the next thing was until I started doing my journey, and then I realized okay, other people need this, right? Other people need this, and I can help, and I want to help.
Right. Yeah, I think one thing that you said that really stood out to me was the fact that J. Cole came out and talked about meditation. And because you saw someone that looked like you, it helped you to kind of come to the idea or come,
took the whole stigma off of it for me, right? That I previously had placed on it. Meditation strictly being for not for people of color.
Right.
I haven't seen anybody, a person of color, in that space, facilitating that space, and making it feel like I'm welcomed in this space.
Right. And that is exactly why representation matters, and that's exactly why it's so important for us as Black men to have these kind of conversations about the things that we do that work specifically for us.
Yeah.
Because we just don't, like, a lot of Black men just aren't aware of these things. Like a lot of Black men, like you said, you were one of them at one point, where just don't understand that meditation works. I was just like you. I used to think meditation, like what am I, something like isn't that for like hippies or something? Like I'm not what am I meditating for?
I'm not a monk.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like what am I meditating? What am I sitting down to do that? Or do I have to fold my legs and say like I don't even know what it looks like, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's so important that you said that. And that's one of the things that I try to do with the page is, like I said, Black man, these are some things that work for me. They may work for you. Right? And that's the main thing that I do with the platform. It's like, look, it worked for me. It may work for you. And it may work for another person. So share it. So I love the fact that you said that, man. And I love the fact that you also talked about yoga, because that's another one of them that we look at and we're like, I ain't getting into that.
Yeah.
Like our first thought is that's for a white woman. Like at least, but that's what I
naturally. Nah, you're not off. You're not off, right? But if we trace that back, that's been going on for thousands of years, and they were doing that back in the motherland generations ago. So that's they've had that for years, right? But it's gotten whitewashed, just like pretty much everything else, and we've forgotten our place in that. And so that's also something that is, for me, it's been a part of unlearning and relearning.
Right. So so I think what would be good is there's going to be people that are listening to this that have no idea how to get into meditation, that have no idea how to get into yoga. Can you give some just tips, some pointers? Just you can reference your journey, or however you want to do it, for any Black man or Black woman that's interested in getting into the work. Like what are some tips and pointers that you would give them?
I think the first thing that I would say is just come with an open mind, right? Release all preconceived notions that you may have about meditation, yoga, breath work, any of these, holistic practices, right? Just release all that at the door or before you, embark on this stage of this journey for you, right? You may have been introduced to it before, right? And you may not have been ready to receive it then, right?
Right.
So first, I think you got to allow yourself the space to receive this work. And then I think, just like anything else, give it a fair chance and commit to it, right? Give it a fair chance and commit to it. For me, what worked. I'll just speak about it with yoga. I was introduced to yoga years ago. Like I'm talking high school, right? But it didn't click for me. But the seed was planted. The seed was planted, right? And then over time, it was continued to get watered and nurtured, whether it was from other people trying to pour into me or me trying to pour back into myself, right? So don't fight the natural growth that's going to take place during this process, right? So even if you're hearing this for the first time and it's not resonating with you, the seed is now just being planted naturally, right? Your time, your journey is going to come at its own pace, right? So don't think, and also let go of the notion that it has to be perfect. Let go of that notion that for me as a competitor, as yoga, I'm like, man, I can go out there and do these poses.
Yeah.
Not the case, man. I was so hard to hit some of these poses, and it's still frustrating that I can't do some of the stuff that I see, my white counterparts being able to do just like that. And I'm like, dang, am I not as athletic as I thought I was?
Right.
So I'm like, this is mentally blocking me from receiving the blessings and the healings that this has the capability to allow if I just release all this, tension, right? And this mindset that I had going into it, right? So humbling myself, starting from the beginning, starting from the ground up, and just being open-minded and curious. The same way with meditation. I started off just like everybody else. I'm sure you've experienced this, where you try to, sit in stillness and sit in silence. And then next thing you know, what happens? Your mind just start going like this.
Yeah.
And you can't get it to shut up. And you think that, man, I'm not doing this right because my mind keep talking. I can't get my mind to shut up.
Right.
And I must be doing it wrong, and I'm never doing this again. That's it.
Facts.
Right? Let that go. Like, please, from the bottom of my heart, let that stereotype go. Right? There is no such thing as perfection in meditation, yoga. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that go. Right? So if you in that zone and you realize and you become aware that your mind is talking to your soul, you're meditating. You're doing it. You're doing it because you're now aware of it. You feel me? That's the whole thing. Being mindfully aware of what you're doing, being mindfully aware of your inhale going in through your nose and exhaling out through your mouth. You feel what that sensation is like, and now you realize I'm in the present moment.
Right.
I'm not in the future. I'm not in my past. I'm here with my breath in this moment.
Right. And yo, I'm so glad you mentioned the last part. You talk about what meditation looks like. Because a lot of us have this perception that you're not meditating right if you're not only focused on your breath. And that was something that I had to get over too. Because when I first started, I would meditate and then I'm starting to think about like dinner or something that was said in the morning or like some work that I got to do or a meeting or a conversation that I had. Then I'm like, man, I don't know how to meditate. I ain't doing this again. Until I started to realize, like, wait a minute, this is part of meditating. I am supposed to, this is what my brain does. This is normal. I'm supposed to have thoughts. Like I'm a human being.
They say, I think they say it's like anywhere between 60,000 and 90,000 thoughts per day. For your average person. You can't stop those from happening. They're going to happen regardless.
Right.
And so one of the best sound bites that's helped me in this practice is if you do this right now, close your eyes, right? Close your eyes and allow whatever thoughts come, just look at them, right? And so picture yourself right now as you're sitting on a hillside, right? And you have a skyline view of the whole city that you're in. And it's daytime. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a nice summer afternoon. You feel the wind across your skin. You hear the birds in the background. You hear some city traffic down below, right? But then you open your eyes and then you look into the sky and you see nothing but beautiful clouds passing by as they just create different shapes in your mind, right? But as those clouds slowly pass through the sky, as the wind guides it on its own journey, I want you to imagine each cloud as each thought in your brain. So I want you to separate yourself from the thought and not become one with the thought. So separate yourself from that cloud and know that you are not that cloud, but you are aware that there is a cloud. You are aware that there is a thought. And as it continues to passes by your horizon, you just let it go. You let it flow. Right? So we need to work on separating ourselves, creating separation from that thought instead of becoming attached to that thought. And most of the time we think that that thought is true. Most of the time we think that 60 to 90,000 of our thoughts, we think all of those are true. We convince ourselves that those thoughts are true. And that's not the case either. That's unhealthy and that's toxic. And I fall into that same pattern. I go off and tell myself this story based off a thought, based off another thought, and based off that thought that led to that thought. You feel me?
Right.
Because I'm attached and I'm like intertwined with that and it's messing me up. Right. And I gotta take a step back, come back to my breath, and realize that nah, just let that joint go. Just let it go. And come back to this moment. Like I am not that thought. That thought is not me. I recognize it for what it is, you know. So that to me has been something that's helped me. I heard a practitioner, facilitator say that, and it made so much sense, right? It's easy as it sounds, right? It's simple as it sounds, but it made sense and it clicked. So like you said, it may not work for you, but it worked for me, and I just want to help you. Right. Hopefully help somebody on this live.
Listen, I'm gonna let you know right now. I close my eyes and I imagine everything, and it definitely, like, I'm gonna practice that tomorrow because I do my meditation in the morning. I'm definitely gonna practice that, and I definitely feel like that's gonna help because a lot of times what happens is I get entangled with the thoughts, and then it leads to me thinking a bunch of different things as well, and I'm not just letting the thought pass. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with when it comes to learning how to meditate for the first time.
Bro, I still struggle with it. Right. I still struggle with it, but I'm better at now bringing myself back.
Right.
And giving myself grace and not getting frustrated the fact that I went off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And can I tell you a story? Because I meditated this morning, right?
Yeah, talk.
I meditated this morning. I've been doing like 5 minutes. I normally do 10 minutes. But lately I've been like, man, I don't really want to do 2 minutes. I don't want to do it for too long. I'm going to do it for 5 minutes. So this morning I did it for 5 minutes. Like the first 2-3 minutes, I'm good, focusing on my breath, straight. I don't know what happened the last 2 minutes of that meditation, but I was thinking about so many different things. I set a timer on my phone for the 5 minutes, right? The timer goes off. I'm like, damn, I forgot I was supposed to be sitting here meditating. And that's like a normal, I think people don't understand, like that is a normal experience. Like sometimes you really just get entangled with your thoughts and it's really okay. That doesn't mean that you don't know how to meditate. It just means that you're human. Like that's really all it is. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Listen, man, I can definitely relate to that experience. And I think the funny thing is you said is you brought up just 5 minutes, right? And I heard another meditation teacher say, if we are not willing to spend 5 minutes with ourselves each day, why would somebody else be willing to spend 5 minutes with us? And that hit home for me. You feel me? Like, if I'm not willing, whether it's meditating, whether it's spending time looking in the mirror, whether it's, in my own personal praise and worship and devotional time, like, whether it's, whatever it is, if I'm not willing to spend time getting to know myself for just 5 minutes in 24 hours.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
That hit home for me. And I'm just like, dang. Right. So from then on, I've been intentional about spending time with myself. I made it actually non-negotiable for me to meditate every day. Right. I've been on that journey for over a year now. And of course, I've done my gratitude journals as well, and my devotion as well. Like, those are non-negotiable for me.
I love
as
that.
a part of me spending time with me.
Right. I love that. And can you talk for just the people that have not done it, that are still probably a little bit wary about it? What are some of the benefits that you've gotten out of that? Because you said you've been doing it for a year.
Yeah.
Just talk about before and after, if you can still remember, like, just the differences that you've seen in yourself and just your interactions with people. Just drop.
I think before I really went down what I call this rabbit hole, before I really, got committed and decided all right, I'm gonna, make this commitment. I think I was going through the motions. I was going through the motions. I was on the hamster wheel, right? And for the most part, I didn't know I was on the hamster wheel. And I think now, after consistently practicing this has definitely raised my level of awareness in all different areas, right? Not only like physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, but I've expanded my capacity to work on myself. I've literally raised my personal vibrations through the roof, bro. Like I was, and I've just changed, and it's also helped with my level of patience. It's also helped with my level of patience with myself and with others, right? Giving, and it's helped me with forgiving myself and others. Like, that's a big part of as Black men, right? Forgiveness. We could do a whole show just on forgiveness itself. That's heavy right there, right? That's a lot of unpacking that I had to do, and I'm still doing that. But those are some of the things that I've noticed. My energy has shifted, right? The energy that I walk into a room with now, that light is different. That light shines brighter. That light is got a different glow to it, right? People, when you walk in the room now, people say, man, it's something different about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something, they really might not be able to put their finger on it, but I can.
You know exactly what it is. Yeah,
I know exactly what it is, because I've been intentional about that.
Right. And you know what's so interesting? Because we met at the Mental Wealth Expo, right?
Yes, we did, man. I'm so glad I came to that joint and I ran into y'all.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And when I met you, I was like, first thing I noticed, obviously, people don't know. People probably don't know, but you're tall. You're tall. First thing I noticed, right? I'm just being honest. But then the second thing I noticed was just the way that you move, even tempered. Like, your tone of voice is very very still and calming. And you don't often find that in people that you meet just off the street, and Black men, if I'm just being honest. And that's what really stuck out to me. I'm like, okay, this dude is in tune. I knew that off rip before we even went into conversation, all that. I was like, this dude is in tune. I can tell. You can always tell, especially when you raise your level of emotional intelligence. You can tell when other people are vibrating at that level higher. And that's another reason why I tell people, heal. Because when you heal, not only are you healing yourself, but you're also learning how to develop better relationships, just off the fact that you have a stronger sense of okay, I know how to discern right from wrong because I know what feels right and what feels wrong.
Come on. We're going somewhere with this. We're going somewhere with this. When you doing that real healing work, then you start to cleanse out your gut. Right? Your gut is where you gotta a lot of people don't know. I just found this out, recently. Like, we have a brain in our gut. That's what is our intuition. That's why people say, like, jokingly, trust your gut or follow your gut. That didn't just come out of thin air, right? That didn't just come out of thin air. That is a place of wisdom that we have been separated from, right? And so a lot of goes into that, right? Our diets, our that physical, like our health, like what we put into our bodies, right? All of that goes into our gut health. And if we can focus on cleansing that, and then we'll focus on opening and cleaning out that space and making room to increase that level of discernment, which you just talked about, to be able to, all right, navigate through these different paths that life takes us on.
Right. Man. Woo!
Man, it's so much beauty in this healing, brother. Like, you find out, you keep unpacking things, and one thing leads you to the next, right? I just remember like how I even found out about the Men's Mental Health Expo, right? And I didn't, I went there with the intention to connect with other like-minded individuals, with other people, because if you're going for a reason.
Right. Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Same way you go to a concert. You're going because you want to have a good time, or whatever your reason is. I was going to connect with other like-minded Black men, right? And if any Black women were there, I wanted to connect with them too. But it was specifically for Black men, and to support one of my good friends, one of my good friends who was on the panel as well, King J. So I wanted to show him some love too. But just like how you had this, you already knew about me when we first met. I told y'all up front, like, I followed y'all probably like in the summer. I came across y'all page, my timeline, because I'm talking about mental health. So, the algorithms, this time they didn't annoy me with an ad that I didn't really want. Right. This time they got me, and y'all came across my page, and I was following y'all work, and I was like, man, I love this platform, right? Didn't think that I was gonna come across y'all until I saw y'all as a team, as a unit, and that like in y'all uniform, for lack of a better word,
right?
I was able to recognize that's how powerful y'all brand is for me. And I was like, man, I gotta at least go say what's up and let them know. Like, I don't even want nothing from them. Right. I just want to let them know to keep doing what y'all doing, keep shining. You know what I'm saying? Support y'all and let y'all know, like, man, I'm here. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. Right? So that's like, I didn't want to leave this conversation and not let the people know, and give you y'all flowers as well.
Right. And man, I appreciate that so much, man, because I think we see a lot of Black men arguing and fighting with Black men, or like just Black people in general not working together. But what I say all the time on the platform is like, yo, how y'all think I got here? I started this page. A lot of people don't know this. And every time I say this, somebody's like, what? I started this page in January. I had 60 followers in January.
Wow.
60. Wow. I cannot lie about that. I still have the screenshot when I started. Yeah. The reason why I got to where I'm at right now is because the bigger pages, the King J Barnett's, the Men to Heals, the Therapy for Black Men, the Black Men Heals, all of them saw what I was doing, and they were like, yo, we messed with this young brother. Let's help him out. Yeah. Men to Heal, James Harris, he sends me DMs all the time about different resources and stuff. King J Barnett, we talk back and forth here and there all the time about stuff. Therapy for Black Men. I had a conversation with Vladimir. We talk about stuff all the time. Black Man Hill. I basically know the whole team on Black Man Hill. We talk, but you get what I'm saying? Like, we collaborate and we talk all the time. Just because y'all don't see it on the outside, just because y'all don't see it on the outside, don't think that like the Black community is not working together. We are. Yeah. It's just y'all see is the
Yeah.
toxicity. That's what gets shared
Yeah.
often. But there's a whole different side of the community that's
Yeah.
working to try and better the community. So it's about surrounding yourself with people that are positive.
You know what
Like
it is? You know what this is, bro?
mm-hmm. Tell them.
Social media is promoting, you know, this toxic energy as is sexy.
Right. Right.
Healing is truly sexy.
And that's a fact. And that's the thing too. Like I tell people all the time too about that. We have gotten to the point where it's easy for us to make toxicity go viral.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as a result, people are creating pages solely based off toxicity, because if toxicity goes viral, now I can get monetized off of that toxicity. Right? And what is it that everybody wants? A lot of people are driven by money. But the problem is now we're building a culture off of toxicity, because people come on social media, and as much as they shouldn't, they believe the things that they see and they consume it, and it becomes truth. So what we have to start doing is, one, critically think when we get on social media.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be able to take in information and assess whether it's relevant and whether it's factual.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, we have to surround ourselves with better pages. We have to surround ourselves with better platforms, with better information, so that we know how to move consciously and also subconsciously, on just a higher level. So that's why I try to say all the time, but yo, just to round back to the point, is like, yo, black people work together, bro. Yeah. And I used to be one of those people that used to think black people are just cutthroat as crabs in a barrel. That's what it'll always be. But starting this page has completely changed my mind about that, right? It has completely changed my mind about that, because I mean brothers like you, and on top of that, I have consistently been helped and collaborated with when it comes to the black mental health space before I even got to the point where this page was seen as a platform. So it's like, yo, bro, don't believe that black people don't work together. I try to tell us all the time, like, don't believe that we don't work together. We do. Yeah. We do. It's about what you see and what gets shared. You got to change the environment that you're in to really see it. We definitely support each other. Somebody said that. Yeah, we definitely do support each other a lot. It's about what you're surrounded with, for sure. For sure, bro.
I'm gonna keep doing it, right? Because I think, and the reason why I think it's so important to support, right? Because that's the power. Is true power in giving, right? Mm-hmm. It's true power in giving selfishly, openly, freely, generously. Mm-hmm. It's true power in doing that, because you blocking your blessings of receiving when you don't give. Right. And giving without the expectation of getting something in return. Right. Just give just from your heart. Right. Because that is the right thing to do, especially if you have it. Even if I don't have it, I find a way to give. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I believe in the power of you get what you receive. Like, you receive what you get. You feel me? Like, you put that out there, you're going to get it back. Right. You're going to get it back. And I've never been someone like to keep tabs of, oh, I gave such and such this, or I got a list. No, what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I keep a list of, only thing I keep a list of is what I'm grateful for. Right. I keep a list of, oh, I gave a homeless man on the street a bag of chips and a Gatorade. I don't need to put that on social media every time I do it. Mm-hmm. I do it too much. But that's not why I do it. I'm not doing it for, like, clout. I do it because it feels good for me, and two, I'm supposed to do it. Right. I'm going to do it every single time. Doesn't matter who it is. Man or woman on the street. Kid, it doesn't matter. Like, if I have the time, most of the time I do, I'm gonna give what I can, because I know that it's the right thing to do. It's a part of my service, right? It's a part of my purpose, and I feel so much better for doing it, right? I get joy, from giving something and seeing somebody genuinely smile from their soul, like, and they just grateful.
Right.
I'm like, man, we
Mm-hmm.
both here. We both feel that connection. And that, what does that do? That raises our vibration.
Mm-hmm. So by giving in that moment, you're literally kind of healing, and you're raising your level, you're raising your vibration. And on
It's
top,
not kinda. It's
mm-hmm.
not kinda.
Yeah, tell me, you are.
It's
You
happening.
are. And
It's
then on top of
happening.
that, a lot of people don't know. This is a theory of mine. People can agree to disagree, but I honestly believe, like what you said is true. I believe it's a universal law.
Come
When
on.
you give, you are going to receive
Come
that
on.
back in some way, shape, or form. And on
Yeah.
top of just receiving it back, I think you receive it back tenfold. I don't think you receive it back in the way that you gave. I think it comes back with interest on top of that. So I really think it's in everybody's best interest to give. I'm not saying it has to be monetary. There are so
No.
many different ways in which you can
So
do it.
many
It's
different
the
ways, bro.
universe, right? It's the
You can give your time.
mm-hmm.
This is what I heard. Like, you can give your time, you can give your talent, or you can give treasure.
Mm-hmm.
There's many different ways to give, bro.
I love that.
It's definitely many different ways to give. I heard that and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep that.
Absolutely. Okay, so man, we've had such a dope conversation. I wanna wrap it up,
Yeah.
and I just want to ask you, can you give the people just some parting words, some things, or maybe a quote or something that you live by, or an
Yeah.
affirmation that you feel like is good, and then we'll wrap it up, brother. I appreciate you so much.
I think I got a couple. One, I heard this a while ago, and this is a affirmation quote that I kind of put into practice in my own practice. It says, I will become the highest manifestation I was created to be in this lifetime. That for me was so powerful. I'm going to repeat it again. It says, I will become the highest manifestation I was created to be in this lifetime. And I started really just saying that to myself in the mirror, like looking into my eyes, like with intention, meaning it. Right. And so that for me hit home for me. And then one of my go-to tag lines that oh, somebody missed it. I don't know if you can put it in the joint. All right, somebody put it in there. I appreciate you, Sarah. And so the next one is flow before you go, flow as you go, and before you know you're going with the flow.
Explain that one for me.
I got you. So for me, that kind of came up. I created that one in the pandemic, right? And I started realizing, like, you know what? I have better days when I start my day in flow. Like when I start my day doing something mindfully, right? Whether it's yoga, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's meditation, whether it's breath work. I start my day in a flow, right? And so then I flow as I go throughout my day. Now I'm in through the day. I'm running errands. I got meetings. I got whatever. I'm in a flow now, right? And then before I know it, over time, if I keep doing it, I'm going with the flow. You feel me? So it's flow before you go, flow as you go, and before you know, you're going with the flow.
Woo! Nah,
it's real simple. It's real light. You know what I'm saying? And but it hit right. It hit where it's supposed to hit.
Nah, you're not. That definitely hits. Because the first time I heard it, I was like, "Yo, I feel like this is deep, but I'm not actually getting it." But your explanation was spot on, brother.
Yeah.
Yo, so thank you so much, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This conversation, it was so needed. It was so dope. I'm definitely gonna make it a podcast episode, bro. Thank you so much for coming on and dropping so many gems, bro.
I appreciate everybody who tuned in. I appreciate you for you having this space, man. And then I don't want to leave this episode without publicly just saying, rest in peace to Dolph and sending peace and love and healing for his family, his kids, his wife, and everybody who was, deeply affected, impacted by this tragic loss in our community, man. So we can just close with a moment of silence, and then, we can be out. Just 10 seconds.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, bro.
All right, man.
Solid, bro. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
All right, man. Good night.
Thank you for taking the time out to listen to this episode. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. So I really hope you got some valuable insight. And I hope I helped in some capacity, whether it be through the platform or the podcast. If you like to support for free, you can like this video if you're on YouTube, or you can share and subscribe regardless of what platform you're listening to the episode on. If you like to support monetarily, now we're talking, you can go to shop.expressyourselfblackman.com and get yourself some merch. We have a hoodie, we have sweatsuits, we have shirts, we have hats. We also have an ebook on how to heal, where I discuss breakups, depression and suicidal ideations, anxiety, and attachment styles. I go in depth about my story with dealing with all of those things, and then I explain how to heal in an easy guide. It's easy to follow. It's easy to go from reading to implementing. So if you're interested in that as well, it's in the shop. The book is called From Hurting to Healing, A Black Man's Guide to Feeling. So consider supporting monetarily, but regardless of how you support, I appreciate you. I hope you have a great day.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for. We got way too much to live for. When we get it all, we want
Looks like you
more.
lost another one.
When we get it, still we want more. I know it's hard, but you just gotta push on through. Only Brody always tryna bring you. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. If you ever feeling down, you can always hit my phone. If you ever feeling down, bro, you're never alone. Okay, hey, I'm your shoulder to lean on. Express yourself, de-stress yourself. I don't wanna talk about me, tell me how you feeling well. Since you know that you alive, but this earth feeling